Hey, you are about to watch one of three portraits that we shared during the event The Last Gasp at the Prestige, our Applied Somatics Academy. The premise of each of these is not just that they were an incredible moment in history through three inspiring figures, but that each one of them represents a somatic orientation that is truly profound, one where somebody moved from dysregulation or incoherence into a state that we like to call one mind, which is a moment of integration where body and mind are aligned, and you could call it maybe a state of super coherence. In the event that we shared these, we primed members in one of two roles, and they would come in and participate behind the scenes. Between each one of these portraits, there would be breakout groups where they would meet. One of them would be elected as principal, the other few would be witnesses. So when I have those different acts in each one of these portraits, that's what they're referring to. The principal is the one experiencing the somatic reorientation from dysregulation into one mind. The witnesses are carrying the field. They're reciprocating that experience and participating vicariously in that moment. The feedback from this particular event was incredible, and several of the principals noted that while they were telling their own story in between each one of these, that as they would hear the portrait of Musashi or Brene Brown or Jesse Livermore, that the somatic shifts taking place in each one of these portraits was adopted by them subconsciously as they were listening, and then it carried through into their own storytelling in the moments that followed, which is pretty awesome. And I hand-selected these three stories because there are three of my favorite of antiquity, going back several hundred years, in the case of Musashi, all the way to the last decade for Brene Brown. So, exciting stuff. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm going to hand it off to Lindsay, my partner in crime here, to walk you through the steampunk corridor. It's a thing we do. And then enjoy the portrait. Reach out at the Prestige if you have any questions.
Our second door opens in a very different place. There are no weapons here, no raised voices, no visible threat. What's at stake moves quietly, numbers changing hands faster than most people can track. Confidence fills the room. Certainty feels earned. The prevailing belief is that tomorrow will look like yesterday, only better. But beneath that confidence, something is beginning to strain. The moment you're about to witness did not come from boldness or prediction. It came from standing alone in a room full of agreement, watching a tide turn before anyone was ready to admit it had. This is a portrait of timing, of seeing what others could not yet see, of acting when hesitation would have been safer and waiting would have been catastrophic. A moment that unfolded not in seconds, but in the quiet compression before history tipped. As you enter this one, notice what it feels like to stand apart from the room, to hold a position that no one else is holding, to commit fully while the world still believes it has time. This door opens onto a moment that reshaped fortunes, and the story that followed was anything but small.
Part 1. The plot. New York City, late 1929. Morning. A brokerage office overlooking Broad Street. Phones ringing without pause. Chalkboards half erased and rewritten faster than clerks can keep up. The market has been climbing for years. Every dip bought. Every warning dismissed. Fortunes made simply by staying long. Confidence has hardened into certainty. Inside the room, most traders are positioned the same way. Long, leveraged, certain this is another temporary shakeout. Jesse Livermore stands apart from the desks, watching the tape. He has been here before, at the edge of conviction, at the edge of ruin. He has made and lost multiple fortunes already. He knows, better than anyone in the room, what it feels like to be right too early and destroyed anyway. The tape keeps printing. Prices falter, recover, then stall again. Volume surges where it shouldn't. Leaders stop leading. The strength underneath the market no longer matches the optimism above it. Livermore doesn't speak. He knows what this would mean if he's right, and what it will cost if he's wrong. To act here is to stand alone, against the entire psychology of the room, the street, the country. This is not a trade. This is a threshold. Part 2. The Principle. Livermore has been uneasy all morning. He paces, stops, returns to the tape. His breathing is shallow, irregular. He's seen patterns like this before and misread them. He remembers the accounts he blew out by acting on conviction too soon. The market hesitates again. The bids don't step up. Offers stack. Selling pressure absorbs buying without giving ground back. Something fundamental has shifted, not in price, but in response. Livermore stops pacing. He stands still in front of the ticker. His shoulders lower. His breath deepens, lengthening without effort. The noise of the room fades, not because it quiets, but because it no longer matters. There's no more analysis, only recognition. This is the turn. All the buying has already been done. Everyone who wants in is in. There is no fuel left, only gravity. The tape is no longer arguing, it's confirming. Livermore gives the order. Not tentatively, not incrementally. He commits fully. Size that could end him if he's wrong. Short positions layered with precision, timed to the market's own weakening structure. When he's finished, he steps back from the desk. He does not watch the next print. Part 3. The Witnesses. The other traders notice the change before they understand it. At first, they had seen Livermore pacing, tense, absorbed, visibly carrying the weight of decision. It looked like uncertainty. It looked familiar. Then he stopped. Someone near the ticker notices his breathing first. Slow, even, unforced. As if a decision had already been made somewhere deeper than thought. The room begins to quiet around him. Not deliberately, but reflexively. Clerks lower their voices. A trader mid-sentence trails off. The urgency that had been filling the space thins, replaced by a strange attentiveness. People begin watching Livermore instead of the board. They see him place the orders without haste. No checking, no second guessing. When he steps away, he looks unchanged by what he's just done. A few traders feel their own breathing slow without realizing why. When the tape turns, when prices begin falling without snapping back, a murmur moves through the room. Some rush to sell, others freeze. Livermore doesn't move. The room is reorganized around his stillness. Later, many will say they felt the moment before they understood it, that something had settled, that the air itself had shifted before the crash made itself undeniable. They had come to trade a market. They had witnessed what happens when breath stabilizes before history turns. In the days that followed, the selling did not stop. Each morning brought another break, another floor giving way. Fortunes vanished between the opening bell and lunch. Men who had been loud weeks earlier went silent. Some never returned to the room at all. The country began to feel it next. Banks tightening, businesses folding, confidence evaporating. What had looked like excess suddenly revealed itself as fragility everywhere. Those who had been in that room remembered the moment differently now. They remembered the pacing. They remembered the breath that slowed. They remembered the stillness that arrived before collapse made sense. As the market continued to fall and then fall again, the scale of what had happened came into focus. While firms failed and accounts were erased, one position deepened into something unprecedented. At the center of the storm, one man had stood alone, short when no one else could imagine it, and held. By the time the panic exhausted itself, Jesse Livermore had made a fortune of legend. Not by speed, not by prediction, but by acting once, fully, when doubt finally cleared and timing became inevitable. Those who witnessed it understood something they would never forget. The crash did not announce itself with noise. It announced itself with breath.